What's up, everybody? Supreme Decisions here, and today I want to talk about a case. But in the matter of doing this, I also want to speak about why it's important to challenge police officers and get their jiggly information or their background information whenever you have any case. And the reason why is because sometimes it may seem like it's nothing, or it may seem like it's small and insignificant, such as when I spoke about the ponds. So when we're doing this, we have to understand any small thing can become a big thing later. Now, I'm bringing this up because I found an article and a couple of videos after I started doing research about a Seattle police officer who killed Genevieve Kandula on January 23rd, 2023. The officer that killed her was Kevin David. Now, Officer Kevin David was traveling in his patrol car at 74 in a 35. Now, the thing that caught my attention was that the Kings County prosecutor, and I believe her name is Lisa Mansion, chose not to charge him. Now, when we're looking at it, 74 and a 35. That in Seattle is reckless driving, and the code is RCW 46-61-400. Now, yes, that's a gross misdemeanor, which means it's a high misdemeanor. But what makes it something else is when you're traveling over 20 miles per hour and over the speed limit, and you then kill someone, it becomes vehicular homicide, which he was not charged with. Just pay attention to that. I want you to stay focused. Now, because he was traveling on his own volition at over 49 miles per hour, and he then kills someone, he is at least, bare minimum, liable for wrongful death. And since he was doing it through the course of his duties, he is then made the state of Washington also liable. But here's what caught the attention of everybody, not the accident, because they apparently did not care enough about Genevieve, that the officer that was this guy's partner, part of the Blue Wall, his name was Daniel Auderer. Now, Daniel Auderer is still a police officer in Seattle. Now, he was caught on a hot mic, which means, remember I told you, these people aren't hired because of their intelligence. They're hired because of their lack of. He got caught on his own body camera inside his car, laughing and joking and devaluing Genevieve Kandula. He said, yeah, he was traveling 50 miles per hour over the speed limit, but hell, she's only 26. She's only somebody cut her family a check for $11,000 because she's only 26. Forgetting that this young lady was in college, forgetting that this young lady was actually somebody's child, forgetting all that stuff, just cut a check for $11,000. Now, I'm going to actually put Joel Merkel, because whenever you're dealing with this or suing the city or going through any complaints with officers, you don't file it with officers. You file it with the Seattle Community Police Commission. And Joe Merkel is co-chairman. So you address it to him. But Daniel, the police officer, who was laughing and mocking and saying she was only worth $11,000, stated he was mocking lawyers and not the victim. Now, I actually came up with a solution for that, because this is why you actually do what I'm talking about. Why? But here, let me actually back this up a little bit, because I often see this more, and the sad thing is I see it more often than not. This is why you don't allow idiots to speak for themselves, because they don't know the things they say can actually be taken apart by someone that's a half-decent attorney, because they are the people that are listening for these buzzwords and for you to actually mess make a mistake or mess up. Now, he spoke about he was mocking the lawyers. Now, here's the crazy part. If he was mocking the lawyers, as he said, Daniel Auderer, if he was mocking the lawyers and saying this young lady was only worth $11,000, he's mocking the lawyers that will be defending him. Does that make any sense? He will mock the lawyer that's defending him. Let that sink in. I'm mocking the lawyers because they are the only ones, the ones that's defending him will only be the ones that will have an interest in devaluing her in this tragedy, right? 2, let's make it easy because he said, oh, it was taken out of context. Great. Release the entirety of the body cam footage. Instead of just a segment, release the body cam footage in its entirety so we can then see if you can and hear what it is that you were actually saying so we can add a little context to it. They don't want to do that. 2, on this one, point 2, if he is lying, which I pretty much believe he is, he then becomes a Brady cop because he lied not only in the report to make his explanation, but he lied in 4 other reports with this same explanation. 3, on this same point, who was he talking to? And were they working? Because he was on his personal cell phone. And understand, when you're on duty as a police officer, you use your personal items, they then become evidence and they are not allowed as private items because you are doing it in public works. I'm going to say that one more time. You don't have an expectation of privacy as a police officer when you're working and using your private instruments. They are no longer private. Because I don't believe most police officers understand this. If you're using it in the course of your duties, that item is no longer private. It is now public, which is why people can go request I'm talking to the police officers now, your phone records. They can request your pictures and videos. They can request these things from your personal items because you use them during the course of your public duties. And now here's the next part. Was the person he's speaking to on duty? And was it on a recorded line? Because then we can hear both sides of the conversation. These are the things that someone with a half of ounce of volition or wanting to go forward and find out the truth and actually prove and get this young lady the money or get her family the money that they deserve. These are the questions that they're going to ask. These are the things that they would do. Now, because if he was on duty, again, had no right to privacy. And what you need to understand is anytime you have these options, police officers are supposed to be trained on how to deal with the public, even in this situation, because they are servants of the public. They have a fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of the public. And if they're not doing that, they should not be wearing the uniform. And the blue wall should not be protecting them like they're doing this officer now. Because if he was lying, every case he's worked, and every case he is working, because he is still in the police, the Seattle Police Department. He's still there. Everyone should challenge everything that he's done, because I guarantee you this is not the first time, and I guarantee you he's lied before.